Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. The solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer Los Angeles, California. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is a new month. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. It's a new month. Friday, August 1st, 2025. And this here is the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media, because the old American media failed you. The old American media were a bunch of deep state hacks reading scripts meant to control and manipulate you. That's what we're emerging from. That's what's different about the new American media. We offer something a little bit different. We gather, we scroll through our feed, we discuss what people are talking about, we break arguments apart, we try to decipher. Look, I don't want to believe a narrative that's incorrect. You've heard that the Cincinnati attacker, that the Cincinnati district attorney let them out for $400. Well, that's not entirely accurate. My understanding, and I could be wrong on this, but I think what I've figured out is that the attacker that punched the lady in the face had nothing to do with anything. It was just an absolute cheap shot, piece of garbage moment from like one of the worst things I've ever seen, for a dude to just knock an seemingly innocent lady out. As we still unpack the story, that person had been arrested a few months prior and or something like that, and had been released on a $4,000 bail, which was $400 to get out of jail, to go walk the streets to commit this new crime. So we have to re-examine letting violent, crazy people out back into the streets. But it's important that we know the distinction between that story. And look, if I understand it, if I'm misunderstanding it, please tell me. Go ahead and let me know, because I'm not interested in pushing a narrative that's incorrect. I'm searching for what is correct. And that's what we do here on the TNAM Daily Show every day at noon. I believe we will be off tomorrow, or we'll do a let's just say we're off tomorrow. There may be a surprise show tomorrow at a very different time. But we'll just say it's off tomorrow. But keep your eyes peeled. But we're going to talk about all of the things going on in the world. And so much of it is circling around. Now it's the Durham burn bag. Do you know what the Durham burn bag means? Do you know what it is? Do you know what was in it? We're going to break it down, and we're asking an agree or disagree question. Does the Durham burn bag annex prove Obama, Clinton, Biden, deep state treason? Does it? Well, it's the number one story in the nation for a reason. This is a constitutional crisis unlike anything we've dealt with. What comes next? Not entirely certain. But there's a whole bunch of other stories in the stack that we are going to get to. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave your comments, share this show with your friends, toss it out there in the universe, text a link to a couple of your smart friends and go, hey, we're all hanging out here watching the news. We're talking about the news in real time. You can comment and we can talk about the news together. That's what we're doing. Join us. Here we go. The TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show, here on the New American Media.
thenewamericanmedia.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm sending out on Facebook to join us live. Yes, we have a whole bunch of awesome groups on Facebook if you use that platform. All right. If you have any story that you want us to talk about, drop it in the comments. As I said, hit like, hit subscribe. Make sure you're following us in all of the places we'll tell you about in a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump into our Instagram feed over here. Where do we... Hang on. Oh, there we go. Share screen. Here we are. Let's talk about all of the things. This is what? Daily Signal. Let's go ahead and open this up. Victor Davis Hanson breaking down. What do we know about all this mess? Oh, where's the volume? There we go.
About the ongoing melodrama of what Barack Obama knew or did not know.
They got music in the background. I'd rather just listen in his word.
In his involvement with Russian collusion. There are three blind
mice involved in this tale. John Brennan, the former CIA director, James Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, and James Comey, the former FBI director. And they all have new manifestations of their untruthfulness. Let's start with John Brennan. The problem is that Brennan is that he went to a meeting and he presented a false picture of CIA assessments. The so-called CIA heads of various divisions found no Russian collusion. They said to John Brennan, there's nothing there that we can see that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. He rejected that, cherry-picked 4 or 5 other analysts, and then presented a false picture to Barack Obama. Or did he? Or did Barack Obama request that he do that? It'll be he said. Then we come to James Clapper. He was sitting at this meeting in December 2016, where he gave a false assessment, misrepresenting what the 18 intelligence agencies under his direction had found. They had not found Russian collusion, yet he participated in this. Now we have James Comey, who also says that he had really nothing to do with the Steele dossier. The fact is, he was completely acquainted with it. His FBI offered $1 million. They were so desperate to validate it. They said, no, Christopher Steele, just give us some proof. It's sort of like Mr. Beria, head of the Soviet secret police during the Cold War. In the end of World War II, he said, I have the criminal, you find me the crime. I have the criminal, you find me the crime. I mean, think about that. That is the weaponization of government, and that's not supposed to be how we handle things in this country. It's just not supposed to be. Will indictments come down? I mean, it seems like they've earned them. We found this video, and look, TNAM preparedness. We want everybody to be prepared. I know that we're working on new health standards across the country to get everybody fit, doing better, their physical fitness. And we shared this video. TNAM preparedness is a nice group on Facebook. But here, take a look if you find yourself in this spot. And also a question of the day, type it in your comments. Do you currently, or have you ever, are you now, or how does that go? Are you now, or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? Have you ever trained in the grappling arts? Brazilian jiu-jitsu or Krav Maga or any of the grappling, even wrestling, I guess. I had a lot of football experience on the line. But on the line, it's a different kind of grappling and twisting and torque and moving and getting free and blocking and shielding and spinning. So I have a version of that. But yeah, if you're on the ground, this was interesting.
Position, mounted and being choked with both hands.
Music again. This isn't how you fight back. 1, trap the arm, lock it down at the elbow so they can't post or strike, then trap the same foot. Now get your hips loaded, drive your leg underneath to power the roll. Look where you want to go and then explode. Bridge hard, and then get out of there. Don't stick around. Get up, get out. It's just a reminder, we should all make sure we take ourselves the safety of our own human vehicle. We have to take that seriously. But yeah, I've been thinking about getting involved. That's another area I want to explore. I don't know to what capacity, but I'm very interested. And why shouldn't every kid be trained on how to get out of a bad spot? That would be great. You want all your kids to be strong, guys, girls, all of it. Be strong, be competent, be powerful, be fit. But man, the police, I've watched so many terrible videos where they don't know how to subdue a suspect, and it just gets so bad so quick and so out of control. But if you know basic maneuvers to get people to the ground, to get them into a position where you can control them and wear them out so you can get some help or you can detain them, I feel like our police officers definitely need a lot of solid training on this. Oh, by the way, in irrelevant news, let me just switch over here. Full screen. It was trade deadline day yesterday. And a whole bunch of players got shipped around Major League Baseball. I did a separate video for the Unhappy Hour. Please check that one out. It should be on our X feed. It'll be everywhere, really. Just look for it. And we also have a standalone YouTube channel for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. But yeah, Cleveland traded away Cy Young award-winning pitcher Shane Bieber 1 year removed? 1 year removed from Tommy John surgery. Was pitching in Double-A to rehab and come back, and we traded him to the the Blue Jays. Yeah, Terry McLaurin is requesting a trade. Football kicked off yesterday. Are you sports fans? That's another question of the day. Type it in the comments. Do you like football? Do you have a favorite team? Do you root for anybody? Do you care? But yeah, a whole bunch of players moved yesterday at the deadline in baseball. Very interesting. Twins kind of had a fire sale. And interested to watch Terry McLaurin, one of the great Ohio State wide receivers playing in the NFL, requesting a trade because they can't get a contract extension. There's a lot of players that just want to get their contract extension and they don't want to go into their final year without one. I think that's pretty fair. And if you don't want to work with, there's got to be a little bit of a wiggle room, a give and a take with some of the players and the contracts and the front offices and the business of the business. If things aren't working out, facilitate a trade and let some of the free agents go where they want to go. So anyway, just wanted to touch upon that. Oh, I got to switch the screen here. Who's got something planned for the weekend? Over the weekend, what are you planning on doing? You going to relax? You going to go explore? You going to have an adventure? You going to try to make some money? You going to work? What are you doing? How about we get a version of all of that in the same weekend? Wouldn't that be nice? All right, next story. Hey, you know what? Look, just a reminder. Sometimes comedy can redefine entire narratives. Don't ever forget this legendary moment before Colbert got canceled.
And you're like, no,
And Colbert was trying to get Jon Stewart to shut up about this COVID thing. You could watch him. He kept trying to, well, we don't know any of that for sure. And okay, well, let's just change the top. Like Jon Stewart powered through talking about where this virus came from. Oh, I don't know. It could have come from anywhere.
Look at the name. Look at the name. Let me see your business card. Show me your business card.
Like the scene in American Psycho. Let's see the business card.
Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan.
Oh, I wonder if this is a naturally occurring phenomena, or could it be because it escaped from the exact thing that's at the exact epicenter of the exact thing? Right?
Oh, because there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey and then it sneezed into my chili.
It was probably all of those things naturally occurring that led to this.
And now we all have coronavirus. Like, okay.
Look at how animated Jon Stewart had to become for this segment to get his point across. Look at, I mean, he's saying no, no, no. He's putting the hand out like stop, stop, stop. Wait a second. He's trying to stop. He's up out of his chair. He is not relinquishing this segment.
Oh my God!
He goes, John. He goes, oh my God.
Oh my God! There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe a steam shovel, maybe with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory.
Perhaps.
Maybe that's it. That could be.
Perhaps it's the absolutely most obvious thing. I'm going to say Stewart solidified himself as an all-time comedy legend with this important and hilarious moment that completely destroyed the conspiracy theory that COVID was some sort of naturally occurring phenomenon. Thanks, John. That's how I feel about that. Sometimes comedy can redefine entire narratives. It's one of the most important vessels to get information across, which is why I try to have fun over here, doggone it. How about this? Gotta mute the song here. By the way, question of the day, do you know what that song was? Or who was in that? What was the song that you heard a brief moment of? All right, but what about this? Do you agree or disagree with this chart from My Biased News? Okay. There's this whole theory of how you could just constantly bombard white people to make them feel shame. And a lot of people say that's what the Democrats have been doing, what the education system has been doing, the lying legacy media, social media. They've been driving this narrative to really sit down, shut up, and you owe us, and you're a piece of filth because look at you, you're white. So look at this chart. I want to know if this chart feels right to you or if it seems. Hang on. So here, let me read what it is. It's sort of laid out to look like a calendar with Sydney Sweeney in her good jeans. Sydney Sweeney has good jeans. The left has actually they have taken this hook, line, and sinker. Because when you're trained to find yourself a victim every day, when you're trained to jump up and down screaming about an outrage every single day, you have to lift over rocks that don't need to be lifted over. Lifting up bricks, lifting up sticks, lifting up bags, lifting up pots. Like you're trying to find worms wherever you can all day long. I got to find worms. It's like, the way they pretend things are, it's like you walk outside and it's raining worms. But no, the education system in the colleges has really been pushing this divisive racism for decades. It's called DEI. It's called all sorts of things. But look at this chart. People are talking about Sydney Sweeney, good genes. Oh my gosh, it's racist. So, all right, take a look. You get them coming and going. There's no escaping the arrows that will fly at you from these race hoaxsters, these race hucksters, these race baiting, divisive people like Barack Obama, perhaps the worst we've ever seen. And look into the past 20 years to see what's happened to race relations with him at the helm. And look at the strategies employed. And look at the people who came out of the woodworks to amplify these messages in a coordinated manner. It's Operation Mockingbird. It's a lot of stuff rolled into one. But all right, look at the chart. It says, all right, so if a white person moves out of a neighborhood, what's that called? Do you know off the top of your head? Type it in the comments if you know it. White people could be called racist if they move out of a neighborhood. If it's an ethnic neighborhood, if it's a non-white neighborhood, if it's a city and white people move out, they call it white flight. Oh my gosh, you moved out of an urban area? Well, you're so racist. You just engaged in the unforgivable sin of white flight. You listen to that for about a year at your new place and you go, well, I don't want my friends to think there's something wrong with me. I'm going to move to an urban neighborhood. You move in. You tidy the place up a little bit because that's what everybody does at every place. You got to make it your own. You got to customize it, this, that, and the other. And guess what? Now you have gone into an urban area as a white person, and it's called gentrification. How dare you? How dare you come in here and try to gentrify this neighborhood? To the best of my recollection and my understanding, the term only means, I don't know, cleaning, painting, just taking care of your place, cleaning it up, fixing it up, making it look as nice as you can, taking pride in your place, not in like the 7 deadly sins way of pride, but like I feel I'm responsible for this piece of area. And as Dr. Jordan Peterson said, clean your bloody room. I got to work on my Peterson. I don't know that I've really added a Jordan Peterson, but clean your bloody rooms. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you leave an urban area, it's white flight. If you move into an urban area, it's gentrification. Okay, I get the game here. I get the game. Everything you do is racist, and that's where they jumped the shark. That's where all this DEI stuff has failed. Their forced racism and bigotry, it's failed because they jumped the shark. They when everything's racist, nothing is. Move into a neighborhood, it's gentrification. Move out, it's white flight. Oh, I get the game now. Okay. Here's the flow chart here. If you have American Eagle genes, you just go right to racism. Just skip go right to racism. So if you don't see color, now you're ignoring racism. Oh, I guess if you do see color, then you're just racist. I think that's what that middle one was supposed to be. So if you don't partake in a certain ethnic culture outside of the one that you're in, if you don't partake, you're being non-inclusive. But if you do engage in that culture, now you're culturally appropriating that culture. It's a graft. It's a grift, I mean. Look at your community organizer in chief, your community agitator in chief. Would you look at him? Would you just look at him? Community agitator in chief, Barack Obama. That's what he's been pushing, the Obama doctrine. Let's say this defines the Obama doctrine quite well, actually. I'll say this chart. I like leaving breadcrumbs. If people like the posts, come and like our page. I thought this is all right. This guy does a pretty good Tucker Carlson.
His name is Happy, yet he's violently attacking people on the golf course. That doesn't sound happy. That sounds more like angry and deranged. He beat up Bob Barker, which is almost treasonous.
Beating Bob Barker is almost treasonous.
I feel. Price is Right is classic television. I used to stay home sick just so I could watch the fat ladies run down the stairs. They couldn't fit in that new car if they tried. So Happy Gilmore can drive the ball 400 yards. At that point, that's not a golf ball. That's a ballistic missile. How intelligence hasn't picked up on this, I don't know.
I found this dude the other day. I have it on my comedy account. You can check out Brain Stand Up on Instagram. And I shared a couple of these. But yeah, Happy Gilmore got released. It's one of the biggest releases in a long time, long awaited. And this is Tucker Carlson doing the review of Happy Gilmore 2.
I don't know maybe what they're looking into. They probably should look into him. I'm looking into his grandmother. He had no father figure in the home. Let's start there. I'm friends with Shooter McGavin. I trust him. I had lunch with him just the other day. Red Lobster. He had unlimited Diet Pepsi, which you should probably look into. The aspartame in that, it has to be endless. I happen to agree with him that Happy Gilmore is an affront to the sport of golf. I hear he wanted to play hockey first. Is there any truth to that?
That's so good. Yeah, check that dude's channel out. Alex DeWitt Comedy, DEWITT. Thought it was good. All right, we lost Hulk Hogan. He tells this story. We have TNAM spirituality. Listen to people and their stories of how they, do you have a belief in something? Do any of us actually know what happens when we leave this earthly realm? It's like the biggest question, but we don't spend enough time thinking about it. Not that we should spend all of our waking hours thinking about that, but here we are. So here's Hulk Hogan talking about it. It's an interesting story.
A buddy of mine, Roddy Piper, passed away. Roddy Piper. And he was really trying hard to, surrender and try to get his life straight. So, we would text every single day. Now, in the wrestling business, for 25 years, we couldn't stand each other. We were at each other's throats. I know it's predetermined, all that, but he did not like me, and I did not like him. And that's just how it was. We started talking a lot, and he started asking me about my spirituality. He really didn't connect, but he was very curious, He wouldn't surrender. And all of a sudden, he passes away. And it was an A&E special about Roddy Piper. And the very thing, when they get ready to go to credits, it wasn't a text message, but it was a text message that was a voice message on the text. So he must have. But this text message came in 2 days after he died. And the text message goes, I'm just loving you, my brother. I'm just walking with Jesus and loving you, my brother. I was like, he would have never said that when he was here.
And Terry, he wanted you to hear it, right?
Oh, doggone.
Yeah.
There's piano in the back.
Yeah, see, he would have never said that when he was here. So it's amazing how things work, so I get sick and tired of myself, the two people in my head, the ego and the real I am. I just surrendered. I just said I can't do it anymore, and I went back to the Bible, and I started reading again, and I'm either all the way in or all the way out. It's a spiritual war in this fallen world. To turn to the truth, seek him and you shall find. To step outside their comfort zone and accept Christ, knowing that he would heal the land and heal this nation and heal the people. It just seems like such an easy choice for everyone. If you'll just surrender, accept him as your savior. Buddy of mine, Roddy.
Yeah, there's a lot of piano in the back. YouTube has this really bad problem of throwing a copyright up for some just generic, like this is supposed to just be throwaway music. Like you're not playing. I'm trying to listen to the words of what's going on there. That interview. If you haven't heard that story, that's a story of somebody who's been on the top of the world and everybody moves on somewhere. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. What are you going to do while you're here? So it's just interesting to think about. Rest in peace, Hogan. All right. We mentioned Operation Mockingbird. Here's Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence, talking with Benny Johnson.
The media being used as a propaganda mechanism. We saw it flatly. I think it's the smoking gun, quite frankly, of the Obamagate narrative and the Russiagate narrative, that it was so baked in that the New York Times and Washington Post went and ran with it. Some would say that that's part of Operation Mockingbird. Some would say that that's part of what we learned in the Church Committee, that the intel agencies were using media outlets as their mouthpieces, and that those mouthpieces would parrot the official narrative. And I wanted to ask you, is this operation still going on? Are you aware of the intel agencies working directly with media outlets in order to push prescribed narratives that may or may not be true?
It's something that we've already had to deal with, Benny, within this administration, where there are people within the intelligence community who believe that their will is more important than the will of the American people, and will.
It's a very bad situation right now. Very bad situation with these people.
Will weaponize intelligence by leaking it to their friends within the mainstream media with the intent of undermining President Trump's agenda. It is not one that he hasn't already talked about in every rally and town hall that he did throughout the campaign. I don't even know how many there were, but President Trump is enacting the very thing he promised the American people he would do in this election. So people in the intelligence community, they may agree, they may disagree. That's not the point here. As intelligence professionals, as people who work in the national security space, in the intelligence community, they are required to fulfill their mandate to their oath to the Constitution of the United States and to the President of the United States, who was duly elected by the American people. Those who leak intelligence to their friends in the mainstream media with the intent of undermining the president who was elected by the American people, none of these intelligence professionals were. They are subverting the will of the people and therefore undermining the Constitution.
It's wild that you're still having to deal with that. Call it what you will, but Operation Mockingbird, just incredible that they were just out with it, that they were using.
And it's still happening.
The media as government organs to push propaganda.
The weaponization of our political system. That's the legacy of Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That is the legacy. Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Mayorkas, jeez, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Susan Rice, Hillary, the DNC.
And it's still happening today.
This is why what we're doing is so important, Benny. Yes. And this is why President Trump's mandate in this is really critical, is by exposing the truth, by exposing the bad actors within the intelligence community and in the political space who are weaponizing intelligence to advance their own political interests is so important to be able to turn the light on in places that have been dark for far too long, expose the truth, and drive accountability. That's the only way that we can actually shift this and begin the work to try to restore trust in the intelligence community.
The media.
We said, hey, drop the indictments now. They're cornered animals, so don't give them time to lash out. Just go arrest them already. Arrest the top 1,000 of the co-conspirators in the same night's raids. Let's wake up to great news of the arrests of the traitors. I keep waiting to wake up to that news. But now that you've identified them all, you need to indict them. You need to arrest them. They are cornered and don't let them lash out. Just go make the arrests. The case is pretty clear. 9-year ongoing RICO conspiracy of treason, sedition, a coup, all of it wrapped up. Lay the case out. That's what I say. All right. Let's see what Miss Muckraker has in the drop today. In times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history. Ooh, it's a good quote. Wall Street Apes says, Mel Gibson puts this out and says, Mel Gibson says it's time to vote Republican and take back California. He says Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass are going to steal the Pacific Palisades homeowners' land. Mel Gibson calls for a federal investigation into Gavin Newsom. Newsom wants to do the Maui plan. There aren't any more locals living there anymore. They all had to leave town. Do you think the people of the Palisades or Altadena are going to be consulted about how their areas are reimagined by Newsom and Bass? Now Gavin has asked for about $40 billion of federal funds to do whatever he has in mind. Why would we trust him with that kind of funding? See, along with that federal money should come a federal investigation. And I do believe if you watch the introduction of the TNAM Daily Show, you'll see Joel Pollack. He's a senior editor at Breitbart News. We interviewed him at Politicon a few years back. Well, he was there with President Trump saying he would like to be, I don't know what they called it, a special master. Maybe it's a special master, but it's someone that could oversee the communication between the funds coming in and the projects and who exactly is getting what, because you don't want the money to disappear in a shell game, whereas you pass it to each NGO, everyone takes 10%. And by the time you pass the water bucket to put out the fire, there's 3 drops. Everybody took a sip of the bucket on the way down and no water made it to where you're supposed to go. That's exactly what happened with the fund The wildfire fund, all the musicians came together to raise money to help the people. None of the money went to the people. There's an investigation into that, where you find Democrats, where you find Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, the globalists, the New World Order, when you find the deep state, when you find them doing their thing, red flags, red flags. Turn your cards up. Roll up your sleeves, anything up your sleeves. You can't trust any of these people. They are professional pirates. What shirt am I wearing today? I'm wearing this one. It usually says obey. Today it says disobey. Even subliminally, if this represents something good and it says obey, maybe there's a subconscious version that's telling you to obey. So I liked this one because it mixes and mashes both. All right, so keep your eyes on California. I miss California. Part of me wishes I still live there. Part of me's just so thrilled to be out of there. But also to everything, there's a season. You know, new place, new opportunity, new people, new experiences. Do we have to stay in one spot? Can we just go different places and do different things? Anyway, good luck to California. Mel Gibson continues, we need to see what's happening with our money, with our federal dollars. California deserves leadership that does more than acknowledge a problem. It deserves leaders who take real, meaningful steps towards addressing these threats to our community. You deserve better. It's time. Oh, Mel Gibson's going to run for governor then. Shouldn't he? Or maybe he's not. He says it's time for accountability. It's time for leadership that doesn't wait until it's too late. And most of all, it's time for the government that stands with its people. Wall Street Ape says, a man says he never released video footage from the day of the Pacific Palisades fires. He says, Gavin Newsom let LA burn down on purpose, an hour of smoke and burning with not a single fire truck or siren. I have video of like 10 minutes after it started to about 45 minutes, about an hour. And what it proves is that there was no fire trucks there. I was on the Pacific Coast Highway. You can totally see what was going on. Hey, Spencer Pratt, this is for you. Hey, I have video of the fire on January. I was there that morning. I was on PCH. I'd like for you to use that in your lawsuits, you know, to get these mother effers that did this S on effing purpose. Wow. Thomas Massey puts out there, it's absurd that one man sets interest rates for a free country. End the Fed. Yeah, we said end the private Fed. Let's see. Amy Meck is saying Islam is targeting your children inside public schools in Mesquite, Texas. Schools are being weaponized for Islamic indoctrination. The Radical Muslim Student Association, MSA, with direct ties to controversial Sharia-adherent Mesquite Islamic Center, has embedded itself inside your children's schools and is actively pushing mosque-aligned religious messaging in the schools. Wanting to put Islamic announcements broadcast over the school loudspeakers on your dime. Students being recruited to Friday mosque prayers during school hours. Mosque leaders directing youth events inside of public schools. This isn't about diversity. This is a civilizational jihad, and it's unfolding with full cooperation from Mesquite is that Independent School District? Meanwhile, MIC, the mega mosque preaching Sharia, is rapidly expanding. $2 million mosque expansion project, targeted Muslim migration into surrounding towns. Do you see the plan? Do you see why Obama pulling the strings for Biden, Mayorkas, Harris flooded America with 30 million people? From parts unknown with an intention unknown. Minnesota's been permanently changed. Minneapolis has been permanently changed. Is it for the better? Hello, Kenneth. Hello, David. Missed you the past couple days, David. Good to have you back. So yeah, then they're targeting Muslim migration into surrounding towns like Forney. There's radical religious outreach masked as student clubs, all while Christian and Jewish students are silenced. But Islam gets a megaphone. That coming from Amy Meck, an alert for Texas parents. Keep your eyes peeled on that story and for stuff close to you. I think she continues here. The Muslim Student Association was founded by the Muslim Brotherhood, the same terror-linked network that birthed Hamas and Al-Qaeda. Their mission? To normalize Sharia, spread Islamic supremacy, and make no doubt, please have no doubt, make no mistake about it. There we go. Those are probably the two phrases I was looking for. Make no mistake about it. It is about Islamic supremacy. Say that part very clearly. Islamic supremacy is what the aim is, because it's a takeover. It's a political movement to dominate and take over everything. It's why the Crusades began, to reclaim the lands that were invaded in the last Muslim invasion. You've studied this in history. You've seen this before. It's a very coordinated plan that we're now seeing a pushback against, because the NGOs have been depleted of resources from U.S. aid to fund the collapse and complete. We're just 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. Yeah, fundamental transformation of the United States of America. It's what Barack Hussein Obama promised you. Just 5 days away, 5 days prior to that election in 2008, 2007, rather, or you know how it goes. You do the old okey doke. You're elected, but it's 1 year, then it's another year. Yeah, Kenneth was just up there. Were you near Minneapolis, Kenneth? I'm sorry. Let me put the comments up here. Did you? Were you near Minneapolis? Minneapolis. It's so stupid. It's great. Anyway, their mission is to normalize Sharia, spread Islamic supremacy, and undermine Western values from within. Now they're doing it through your child's school, and it's time to speak up. By the way, anyone with any school anywhere needs to know if any of this is happening in their local school, and they need to make it known immediately. You need to participate and understand what your schooling situation is. And if you're not a fan of it, change it. Please. Demand answers and accountability, and demand that Islamic recruitment, because that's what it is. It's recruitment. Demand that ends now in taxpayer-funded schools. RAIR Foundation. I don't know the foundation, but keep your eyes peeled for that everywhere. All right. President Trump today, I guess that was yesterday, signing an executive order to bring the presidential fitness test back to public schools. Amen. Let's start jumping again. Let's get excited. Let's create. Let's be active. Let's be healthy. Let's be fit. And man, have I been such a fan of the occasional fasting. Oh, it's easy to find plateaus and get into rhythms of I eat these types of things generally each week, and or you have a couple of we hosted our friend Izzy. If you follow the show, you might know Izzy. Izzy was on the show once. We had him on talking about basketball. Might be back again. I think we're going to talk some football. Yeah, we're going to work Izzy in doing some football stuff. That'll be fun. Sooner than later, too. But, yeah, it was a lot of going to different places. And, oh, check this place out. Let's go eat here. Oh, let's go here. Let's try that. And then it's like, all right, let's just start everything. Let's try everything. And yeah, you can get out of shape real fast. And when you're in a plateau of just in a spot that's not really working, I don't know. For me, just an occasional 1 day, 2 day, 3 day fast has worked good. For me personally, got to add, I, not you, the proverbial you. When doing that, electrolytes are extra important. Salt, mixing salt in. But yeah, I don't give out medical advice. We all know that. But presidential fitness test, that's cool. President Trump will be joined by Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, former New York Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor, golfer Bryson DeChambeau, and others per CNN. The presidential fitness test was my friggin' jam in school. Let's go. All right, check this out. Men aged 18 to 29 have swung a whopping 44 points Republican from 2023 to 2025. And women 18 to 29 have lurched red by 14 points per Pew Research. The next generation has a better head on their shoulders. We have got to fix what's happening in our school systems. They're crazy indoctrination. All right, good news here for Nick. Let's see. Nick says, I started my show. I'm doing shorts and reels for a month. Shorts and reels. All right. Nick, tag a link to one of your shorts or your reels and put it on X at American_media_. And we will share that out and say that one of our regulars has a new show. Check it out. There we go. Yeah, we got to. How many pieces of content have been dropped? What content is coming next with the shorts and the reels? Excellent. Yeah, Nick was very kind. He said that finding this show kind of inspired him to do his own. Awesome. See, and that right there is the butterfly effect. A butterfly flapping its wings in one area can cause hurricanes and butterflies and hurricanes. I think Muse has a song like that. Yeah, but the butterfly effect, an Ashton Kutcher movie. It's one thing can cause a whole bunch of other things. If our show in any way helped Nick get his project launched, then awesome. We were a catalyst. Maybe his show is going to be the catalyst for something else, which will be a catalyst for something else. And it really is. I've always done this content as a reminder that we have to be able to speak what's on our mind. If we don't exercise our freedom of speech, what are we doing? What do we have? If we don't exercise it, we're going to lose it. It's just like musculature. It's just like the presidential fitness test. So yeah, the next generation is moving far to the right. 44 points for the men, 14 points for the girls. Still not enough for the girls. And I think most of it is abortion based. So got to figure out a way to figure out being personally against abortion. And if you want to not have an abortion, you can not have an abortion. And your tax dollars shouldn't be funding abortion. It shouldn't be. Let Planned Parenthood fundraise privately. Let them get their Democrat funding from their Democrat sponsors. Don't force the Republicans to pay for it. And try not to make it illegal in too many places. There are still people in society that deem that something they want to do. If you can find a way, Republicans, to figure out the abortion issue, you're almost out of ammunition completely as a Democrat. If you just take that off the table. So push for a full ban at your own peril. I know the country is actually more pro-life. I get that. But I think then it should be leading by example of being pro-life and have a couple kids. Find a way to have a couple kids and work with your extended family. And, our nation used to be a different nation. But the group coming up now, they've been pushed way too far by Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, the deep state, with all of their woke, DEI, racist, misogynist, all of their, and they hide behind, no, we are the correct people. No, we shall deem who gets doled out said punishment, for we are the self-appointed regulators of everything good and bad. And we have declared, it's like they say about the cops. Oh, we investigated ourselves and determined we did nothing wrong. Okay. Anyway. Rumble and TikTok as well. You once drove a catalyst? A catalytic converter? Didn't you need to replace your catalytic converter? You're so right-wing, you only date redheads now. Okay, I get it. Yeah, no more blue hairs. Although blue hairs could be older people. All right, Nick Adams' show is out. Check it out. All right. The Democrats are allegedly planning to use a loophole known as the Rule of Five to force the Trump administration to release the Epstein files by August 15th. Also, according to Miss Muckraker, Pakistan's largest refiner, Chenergy, it looks like energy, but it's not. Anyway, they'll import 1 million barrels of oil from Vital in October. This will be their country's first ever purchase of U.S. crude following a landmark trade deal. Look, President Trump is selling American product internationally. This is a glorious recalibration of trade everywhere. We are getting our stuff out. We are becoming the producers, as we should be. We need to have a lot of energy. And let's innovate and let's make it the best version of energy that we can, but we need a lot of energy. All right. I really like that that's what President Trump is doing. Like, we're getting a lot of American products out to countries, brand new markets that they were never in at 0% tariff. No hands but tied behind our back. Just, here's some cool stuff. Are you interested in purchasing it? Huge long-term ramifications for the country if we stay on track. And it's just shockingly disgusting that we let people who hated this country succeeding rule over us for so long instead of doing these obvious things to make the nation better, more competitive, more secure, more stable, more powerful. Right here, Slovenia is banning a weapons trade with Israel over the Gaza conflict. Slovenia banning weapons trade with Israel. Hi, buddy. Warpaint Journal saying, just hope the next viral trend is empathy, critical thinking skills, media literacy, accountability, and shutting up when you don't know what you're talking about. Hey, we can dream, right? Hello, Jen Adams. How are we? Miss Muckraker says, breaking, the federal government just lost 12,000 jobs in July alone and has lost 84,000 jobs since January of 2025. Now, that's obviously not good if you work in government. Also, was government bloated and inefficient and wasting all of our money and driving us into bankruptcy? Yeah, multiple things can be true. And I know people who have lost their jobs at research-affiliated jobs and university-affiliated jobs and USAID and the NGOs and the shell games that they play with their money, and everybody gets a taste, and Congress is pushing it, and private funding is pushing it, and just the government huge and bloated. That's what we've been dealing with. 84,000 jobs gone since January of 2025. So it's been an interesting time if you're trying to be in the job market now, because so many people have been dumped into this. Right now, everyone's looking to be heard. Unusual Whales says in just 7 years, Social Security will reach a fiscal cliff that could leave millions of American retirees with drastically reduced benefits, according to a recent analysis by the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. Oh boy, Social Security might not be there for us. Almost like we need to do something to save it, such as making sure people who are unqualified aren't stealing it. Right? Breaking. DNI Tulsi Gabbard says Operation Mockingbird still ongoing in CIA, and she's actively trying to shut it down. Oh, yeah. Watch what's about to change at Disney, ESPN, ABC. Watch what's going to happen at Paramount, CB. Like just look at all the look at them all. Watch what's about to happen. This is an interview with the mom of one of the thugs who ambushed white people at the Cincinnati Jazz Festival. Well, they won't let me play it. Oh, I guess, but I can't open it. I guess there's no opening it. This is weird. It's acting strange for me. Instagram acting weird. Oh, there we go. So we're still trying to unpack all the details of the Cincinnati attack. Some people claim that the guy, well, anyway, I thought I saw a video yesterday. Let me ask the crowd, question of the day. In one sentence, just as succinct as possible, what do you know about the Cincinnati Jazz Festival fight? What do you know about it? Do I understand the story properly? I don't know if I have the story correct. I mean, I'm doing the best I can. But anyway, here's the mom of one of the people who ambushed someone in that.
On the video, he said, "You want to mess with these Russians?" And he smacked the first guy, you know. But it wasn't like they thugs. My child is in school. He had 5 kids. He's on the B honor roll in school. And he's not the thug that they put out in there to be.
Now, if you remember, Chief Terry Fiji said that anyone who used their hands
Whoop, Nimbus, change the channel.
to intend harm will be facing consequences no matter what side of the fight. So we will be looking out for more arrests.
And on the video.
Yeah, that was the video I thought I saw, but then I couldn't find it again. Regardless, there was a lady there who got sucker punched, knocked unconscious, and just bruised her whole face. There might be some sort of claim that, oh, that guy was trying to instigate. He's the one that put it. He didn't smack. He put his hand on the guy's face. Like, we have slap tournaments now in America with Dana White's league. You didn't crack. You didn't crack somebody across. You reached out and put your hand on somebody's face. Whatever I watched, I was going to rewatch it with you, but I couldn't find it again. So if somebody has it, tag me on X. But yeah, so it could be said maybe that guy was in the middle of something in a different place. But if that lady's kid is the one that knocked that girl out, there's zero defense for that. Zero. I don't care if that guy said something about Russians and put his hand on the other guy's face. And by the way, then they're retreating, and then they're done. Like, they're getting then they're done. You cornered him and made sure that violence occurred. You don't get to do that. You have the right to use tools and techniques to get out of a violent situation. You don't have the right to violence. It's a bit of a difference. Oh, yeah, the Cincinnati one not being from Russia. No, I think what she's saying is, like, you want to mess with these Russians. I think there were a couple of white guys around that white guy. You know, I don't know. It was 3. Hi, bud. Oh, my goodness. Hi. Thanks for joining me today. Everybody say hi to Nimbus. He wanted to join the show. May these moments live forever in our memory. Mr. Nimbus. Question of the day. What pets do you have? It's like midday. He wants to be a part of this. Or he wants his scritches. He wants to be scratched. He wants the head massage. Wants his creaky old bones and muscles moved around. Oh, where's Sid? Is Sid watching today? Okay, here, I gotta move. Here, I need to. Here, let's go this way. No, but just 2 steps. Let's go 2 steps this way. There we are. Okay, thanks. Yeah, Nimbus is just taking over the show. He wants attention and he wants it now, and he keeps stepping on the keyboard, so I keep moving it. Trying to work with him. Kenneth has one wonderful cat, Roscoe. David has a beautiful Pitty. What's your pit's name? And oh, your cat. Your cat is the name of a song. Spiral? Was it Spiral? There's Unholy Hoax down there in San Antonio. Say hi to Unholy Hoax. Who remembers his real name? Type it in the chat. I asked you all to remind me because I had a hard time remembering my brother in San Antonio down there. All right. So, yeah, anyway, the Cincinnati attack story, I'm open to any interpretation of it based on the most accurate available evidence. I haven't watched anything that would justify the woman getting attacked in that manner. It's a bad situation, everybody. I'm over here. I'm just, I mean, you got to reach a certain level of need. I didn't see her swinging on anybody. What's Timcast have to say about it? This is July.
This is the Cincinnati story. The police chief basically came out saying, oh, the social media videos are making it worse. Oh, yeah? Watch what happens.
Hearing it on, egging it on. 20 people going to his head. And that lady knocked out. While they're cheering it.
It wasn't just this one couple. Another bystander walked up and he got beaten too.
I didn't see that story.
The issue is, whatever, it may have been a fight, there may have been an altercation, but why was the lady stomped? Why was the random other guy stomped? And more importantly, why are there black people in the background cheering on the merciless beating of these white people? See, we want to address this because we don't want racism. Stop gaslighting us. This is the Cincinnati story. The police chief basically came out saying, oh, the social media videos are making it worse. Oh, yeah? Watch what happens.
We know what happened there. All right, let's go to notifications. I think Nick tagged us. All right, here we go. One of our, let's say, TNAM. Are you watching this? This is in the way. Okay, let me get the. I'm getting them up. Don't fasten. Hey, don't fascinate. Don't worry about the mouse. He's gonna bite me. I know he's getting feisty. He's like watching this mouse like it's his job. All right, one of our TNAM daily show regulars, Nick. Okay, let me try this. Just launched his new show. Go check it out. There we go. Tagged and shared. All right, let's go to our profile here and go through our stories. All right. Right there on your cat, Amanita. Amanita? Amanita. Amanita. No, Kenneth. Kenneth is trying to guess Unholy Hoax's real name because I asked you to remind me. We need to remember the names of all of our regulars. And I asked you to remind me, and Kenneth guesses his name instead of Unholy Hoax. Is his real name Unholy Smokes? No. Okay, it is Spiral, and your dog's name is Maya. Ah, my brother had a Maya. All right. Here on X, make sure you're subscribed to us. And pinned at the top of our X feed is our interview with John B. Wells from Caravan to Midnight. You can link up. It's a new month. And you can subscribe to become a sponsor for the New American Media. We appreciate each and every one of you who has. Also, to the people out there, somebody who was signed up as a Patreon sponsor, the payment was declined. It went back. So a message was sent if that person might happen to be watching to relink the Patreon account because it didn't process this month. I got a message today because it happens on the first of the month. Thank you for your support. Oh, yeah, it's Chris. It's Chris. It is my job to remember that Unholy Hoax is Chris, and it was your job to remind me about Chris in San Antonio. But yes, pinned at the top of our X feed there at American_media_ is our Patreon account. Please consider signing up to toss a couple bucks into our wishing well. It is greatly appreciated. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen is patreon.com/@thenewamericanmedia. Our tip jar online is Venmo and Cash App. That's at BrianEngelman, BrianEngelman. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen also. You can pause it if you need to. On Cash App, it's $BrianEngelman, and PayPal, the email address to use is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com to link up with us there. And then there's the reminder scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You can find the New American Media on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, D Live, and YouTube by searching the New American Media. We are asking for 800. Here, let me change the screen here. We're asking for 800 bonus hours watched on our YouTube channel. We need 800 bonus hours. Do you have a few hours this weekend to check out the New American Media on YouTube? Watch some old videos, previous episodes, click on our most popular videos and watch or play a couple of them and let them play in the background, play them on multiple devices. We're asking everyone to come back and report if you were able to collect X amount of hours of bonus watches. We're trying to get our YouTube channel monetized since for the first time in, oh, good grief, it's been a while. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. So that's the goal. If any of you choose to participate, YouTube, I'm asking for 800 bonus hours watched. If you can find the time to watch a couple 2-hour episodes, you could say, hey, I got 10 extra hours watched. You know, play while you're doing yard work, put a couple on and listen. If you can stand my voice, but check out the interesting interviews I've had with interesting characters. Hopefully it's entertaining and some of it stands the test of time, and try to find out where I was wrong on major issues of the last 14 years. Because I feel like I've been pretty directionally accurate. But yes, please link up with us all the places on X at American_media_. In our podcast, if you're a podcast listener, please take 60 seconds, go to your podcast on Spotify and subscribe to the Agree to Disagree show with the New American Media, the Agree to Disagree show. Also have our sports show, the Unhappy Hour sports show. All right, let's get to the X news. All right, breaking down the first batch of documents about Obama's role in the conspiracy. Here's Clandestine sharing this clip with a few different people here with Hannity on Fox. Here, let me full screen this.
Breaking news, and I believe you might have a little bit of news to break either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, I do. We'll lean into it right now. So this email was, and these intercepts were part of a very secret U.S. program where we spy on our enemies. And the government has the ability to determine if this email is real, but technology it would have to reveal would be very sensitive. And so there is a balancing act that has played out here in the last few weeks as people decided what to do with this. This is an explosive piece of evidence, but it's just a piece of evidence. We have to now, in the government, find out, did it really happen this way? But I will tell you something that did happen in the summer of 2016. U.S. intelligence, when they first intercepted this, began to look at some other things. Could this be true? Could the Russians really have something? Have they stumbled onto a plot? One of the things they intercepted were text messages that showed that the first thing Hillary Clinton was going to do was to turn to Vice President Joe Biden and see if he would take the first blow against Donald Trump. Would he go out right in the middle of July and say, I think Donald Trump's got a Russia problem? Well, they watched that happen in real time. First in 2 interviews, then at a speech at the Democratic National Committee. It led some of our U.S. intelligence analysts to believe that what the Russians had captured was an ongoing plot and that it was really going on. And then
we see how they completely concocted this for the sole purpose of weaponizing, to destroy us.
A few days later,
to destroy our way of life, to destroy our country, to get us to sit down, shut up.
The FBI opens up, just like the Russian intelligence suggested. What we are sadly lacking is a complete investigation. This 10 years later, Chris Wray's FBI, John Durham's investigation, the U.S. Intelligence Committee, James Comey never fully investigated this. We could authenticate this if we put our elbow grease into it. The government owes us an answer to find out if this is all true. But Joe Biden did make that. Tomorrow morning, we're going to show you how Joe Biden's actions match what the Russian intelligence was predicting would happen.
Interesting. Yeah, so first batch showed the role Obama played. The batch today showed the role Hillary played. Now Solomon claims the next batch will show Biden's role. The rollout is coordinated. We are being briefed. Speaking of being briefed, Operation Mockingbird never ended, says Liz Churchill. The CIA controls they call it MSM, or mainstream media. I call that lying legacy media. The conspiracy theorists were right again. Here's Claire Danes talking about her show with CIA mouthpiece, allegedly, Stephen Colbert. And look at what Stephen does to stop talking about this. It's giving off the vibes where Kevin Hart was asked something and he's like, we're not, don't say anything. Nope, we're not going to, nope, can't get it. Watch how it plays out. And look at the way she's looking at him. I think she knows that she's calling him out while she's doing it, which is an aspect that I haven't really unpacked yet. We should book her. I wonder if she would tell us from My So-Called Life.
Okay, so now one of the things that you do you do this every season where you go get to spend some time with some actual spies?
We do. It's like the coolest part of my job.
Who sets that up? Who calls the CIA and goes, we just like to come in and hang out with you guys?
Yeah, so Henry Bermel, who is one of our founding fathers of Homeland, one of our writers.
About her show Homeland. This is all an act. This is all scripted. He's setting her up. But I guess he doesn't realize where she's going to go with it. So she's looking up, trying to remember her part of the script and what she needs to remember to add here. That wasn't, because they rehearse this stuff. They ahead of time. They pre-position and figure out the stories you're going to tell. And well, let's not get into that. I don't want to bring that up on the show. And they really craft and homogenize a safe conversation, which is why I like just talking off the cuff. I forgive people if they say things that were inarticulate, or if they'd like to go back and I don't know. I thought I knew something I didn't. I have new information now. I have a different opinion, or what have you. I give people grace for talking off the top of their head. Nick is saying Homeland was very entertaining propaganda. Oh yeah, we've had tons of propaganda over the years. And look, to a certain degree, I love our side being the good guys and actually being the good guys. Just how often are we the good guys? I think we get a lot of great men and women to sign up that want to be good guys. It's just that, they don't get to pick. They don't determine what happens out in the real world. That's not their forte. That's not how it works. They're just told what to do. Well, hence you're given a script and you're told what to say. But here you go, Claire Danes.
Passed away a number of years ago, but his dad was in the CIA, and his cousin was a mentee of his father's and was also in the CIA, a very accomplished person there. And he recently retired. But in his retirement, he curates this week-long spy camp for...
Would you go to a week-long spy camp?
Us producers and writers and...
Really?
Yeah.
Is it like,
Yeah, so we park ourselves in a club in Georgetown and talk to, real spooks. And, people in the intelligence community and the State Department and journalists and people...
The State Department and journalists. You heard it, right? It's like, oh, here you go. Here you go.
And, people in the intelligence community and the State Department and journalists and people who really...
What do they tell you that, what's the most surprising thing that they've told you about their jobs, or something you would need to know?
Well, every year it's different, right? We've been at it for a while, and the climate has changed. But this year it was all about, the distrust between the administration and the intelligence world, and the intelligence community was suddenly kind of allying itself with journalists, which usually they're not.
How long ago did you start shooting this season?
I've witnessed another video. I thought that's what this was. Okay, I mean, that's helpful to see here that they're collaborating with the journalists. Okay. But I recall watching some of this that was much more Colbert agitated, trying to change the subject. Speaking of changing the subject, remember Hillary Clinton wanted to just drone Julian Assange? Seth Rich was much easier to take care of. Remember that? Clinton openly, casually inquiring, can't we just drone Julian Assange, who got the Seth Rich information allegedly that they turned around and said was Russian. It was a Russian hack, so they had to make Russia seem more dangerous and more aggressively, doing what the Democrats just did to overthrow the country and seize control in a coup. How interesting, huh? Seth Rich back in the news. That was a story we didn't really get to the bottom of now, but it's coming up again. James Woods says, burn bags, wiped email servers, Seth Rich murdered, the bones always reach from the grave. No matter how deep the lies are buried. There you go, American hero, American patriot. Seth Rich uploaded the DNC server emails and gave them to WikiLeaks. Then he was killed. Seth Rich deserves justice. Clinton campaign in coordination with the Obama administration, the media and intelligence community, according to Clandestine, wittingly coordinated to demonize Putin and Trump, then blame them for the DNC hack, Seth Rich. They were all in on it. They were all in on it. So yeah, would the Operation Mockingbird get involved if Julian Assange is getting stories he's not supposed to be talking about? Will they make an example out of Seth Rich? Yeah. Yeah, that's why we're not going to war. We're trying to fend off the overthrow of the country that's clearly laid out for you. Clearly laid out, very clearly laid out. All right, Sean Hannity here says, Jonathan Turley reacts to the bombshell declassified annex of the Durham report, saying, well, there are a lot of people worried in this city tonight. Well, here, let's just play the report.
Well, there's a lot of people worried in this city tonight. This is the great reveal that John Radcliffe was promising, and there's more to come. The important thing about this, Sean, is that it confirms things that we knew, and it gives us things that we did not know. We always knew, not always, but we knew earlier in July 2016, Brennan briefed Obama to say that Hillary Clinton was planning to create a Russian collusion scandal for Trump to distract from her email scandal. He briefed the president on that, and then months later, he played a critical role in overruling CIA analysts and including the Steele dossier. We also know that the Clinton campaign lied to the media, denied they had funded the Steele dossier, and indeed hid that funding as legal expenses by Mark Elias, the general counsel at that time of the Clinton campaign. And all of this required this all-on-deck effort, the government, the campaign, the media. That's why when you see the reaction of the media today, it's clear that no matter what is produced, you can show a dozen heads in a duffel bag and they're still not impressed. And the reason is that for most of the media, this is not coverage. It would be a confession. That is, if they actually cover this story, they are confessing their own role in what may be the greatest political hit job in history.
It is the greatest it's the greatest political hit job in history. Future generations will never believe that the term trumped up charges weren't created because of this moment in time. That phrase that pre-existed all of this perfectly sums up what this is: trumped up charges. All to get Trump. Trump was in the way. They had a 30-year plan and you're messing it up. Co-conspirators. I've been the exact opposite, trying to go against the grain. I've never really tried to work with any of these companies because I knew that they would hate someone like me just talking honestly. I didn't want to be a script reader. That's why I've been building this empire for 14 years now here at the New American Media. And it's still tough to grow. It's still tough to get the analytics that we need on these social media sites. Is there legacy code? Is there still censorship occurring? I mean, whatever the case, we do a fantastic, I think we do. And you keep showing up because you have fun. But I think we do a great job breaking down the different things occurring in our world. There's a lot of angles to consider. I think this is one of the better shows to just hang out and do a deep dive. That Durham report, Crossfire Hurricane, all this stuff, it's absolutely damning. And it's always been known. It's always been knowable. It's just, Once again, we need to wake up and find out that 1,000 people have been arrested in a coordinated nationwide global takedown effort. The biggest sting operation. Like, then we can take it, like, maybe have a sigh of relief for a moment if we can accomplish that. Maybe. I feel like that would be helpful, though. But yeah, the media are co-conspirators. Hello to Lake Leon. There you go. What's up, Lake Leon? You are back. Last day of vacation work. Good to have you. All right, let's go to the next story here. Stephen A. Smith talking about Zoran Mamdani. Stephen A. might be the new leader of the Democrat Party. You didn't hear it here first, but I keep reminding you, this obnoxious sports guy might be the new leader of the Democrat Party. Keep your eyes peeled.
But when this brother said that, what you were saying is nobody needs to make more than a certain amount of money. Who the hell are you to say that? This is America. That's not going to fly. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, the Democrats, if AOC and Mamdani and people like and Bernie Sanders, if folks like that take over the Democratic Party, one of two things happening.
One of two things happening. Are either of them good? What would you guess? Would either of those two things be good?
The Democratic Party is toast.
Yes, it is already.
Or America is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith has a good way of breaking this stuff down. All right, let's talk about the Cincinnati attack again. The Laura Ingraham show here. Senator Bernie Moreno from Ohio. Let's try to listen, or let's learn a little bit more. God, this is disgusting that dude knocked her out.
Altercation. Her crime was wanting to go to downtown Cincinnati and have an evening with some friends. She tried to stop the fight and she got brutally attacked. I actually call it attempted murder.
It is.
And by the way, when the one police officer did show up, Laura, because we're 200 police officers short in Cincinnati, she was taken home in an Uber that she had to call. She wasn't taken in an ambulance. Nobody took her to the hospital. She's now been in and out of the hospital 3 times. I've talked to her every day. She's frightened to death. You can imagine the trauma. She's a middle-aged woman that almost got her life beaten to death for showing up at one of our great American cities.
It's interesting. I keep hearing this phrase. I wonder if I picked it up somewhere. And I should have the clip. I had it queued up on an X somewhere. It was when I was reporting from the Bronx for Real America's Voice. No, you know what? I do have it queued up. Hang on. I want to find it here. Because I talked about our great American cities. Like, that was one of the taglines I used when I was reporting for War Room last year in the Bronx for the Trump rally. But now I keep hearing our great American cities, but I was the one that said it. And then they replayed it. They clipped it onto this program for Bannon's War Room for this intro. And now I keep hearing everybody say our great American cities. Like, I didn't invent greatness or cities or America, but like, was that a commonly used phrase before? Because my reporting from the Bronx was talking about the pulse of the people, 86% Black and Dominican. They couldn't stand that illegal aliens were being given free money, free housing, coming in, committing crime. The violence is out of control. They're just letting the chaos happen. They hate. And my thought was, because I've been to San Francisco and you're stepping over human excrement and needles and junkies, and the corners of Austin, Texas smell like piss. And you're just like, God, does anyone take pride in their, once again, pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, but does anyone take ownership over where they live? Does anyone have high enough standards to not allow their place to deteriorate into this? And I said something about our great American cities. Let's get to it. Oh, it's going to go to commercials first. All right.
He plays MAGA on TV, but
here we go. Right again.
Stop scrolling
okay.
and pay attention.
There you go. You need to have a salt drink. Remember, I was telling you about electrolytes, though.
We're going to listen to the 45th President of the United States.
All right, here we go.
Trump's big Bronx rally.
Crowds are pouring in here, thousands of people. We are in the Bronx today.
That's me interviewing him.
I think the Bronx is going to show out for Donald Trump. These people up here want change.
Biden's bringing us down, man.
The only man capable to make those changes, and he will make those changes, is Donald Trump. 50% of the people in this area live below the federal poverty line. You like what you see going on in the city?
No, my city's upside down.
Democrats let the people down?
Sure, look at Ocasio-Cortez.
These people are furious. They feel like the Democrats have taken them for granted all this time.
Biden.
And that is true. I gave a report on this person's show, or the three of their show.
Support among minorities isn't just eroding because of failed policies, but because more people are waking up and seeing how much of a liar he really is.
The biggest issue right now is the border. You got a mass invasion everywhere, especially here.
Mass invasion. The people were just furious that the third world was being dumped into their city.
New York City. They go to the big cities.
The great American cities are really struggling right now under the weight of what Biden's done at the border, and it's palpable.
Crime is raised at least
There it was.
60%.
That was the little clip I was trying to get to. Was that it? Hold on.
Mass invasion everywhere, especially here in New York City.
Now everyone's talking about our great American cities, and like I remember that quote vividly because they thought it was good and they clipped it and used it. I mean, now Bernie Moreno's talking about our great American cities. I just find it interesting. It's cool.
They go to the big cities.
The great American cities are really struggling right now under the weight of what Biden's done at the border, and it's palpable.
Crime is raised at least 160%. I get gunshots on my block on a weekly basis.
We need to make America safe again. Donald Trump, the #1 president, we love you. We need you. Come save us. Save us from the crime. Save us from the criminals.
And people from every race and color, the Bronx needs help.
The people have seen the past 3.5 years, and they are ready for a change.
Dominicans and black people in the streets.
I'm so glad I got to do that. I'm so glad I got to just kind of participate in that craziest of elections. There will never be one like it. They're all interesting, but that one was something else. All right, back to X here. Bernie Moreno. My dad's met him. He likes him. But yeah, I'm just disgusted. I love going to Chicago, Milwaukee, New York, DC, San Francisco, Los Angeles. I love our great American cities. Austin. I just hate how gross they've become. And that they're just letting the junkies and the crazies and the violent and the thieves just run rampant. Property destroyers. They're not raising the level of anything up there. They're destroying those communities. All right, back to Bernie Moreno.
She's frightened to death. You can imagine the trauma. She's a middle-aged woman that almost got her life beaten to death for showing up at one of our great American cities. And to see Victoria Parks and the comments that she's made is so despicable. And the reality is it's even worse because there's another detail missing. There's a judge, Judge Hathaway. They got the guy in custody, as you said. He was released even though he was in a previous gun offense. And get this, Laura, a $400 bail. This guy's on the streets of...
Okay, hang on. I got to stop there because I have... Let me get away from this. Let me ask her. Kind of this. The Cincinnati... How do I spell it? Cincinnati attacker who was released for $400. Who was he? When was he released? Are the people who were arrested for this attack still behind bars. Because this story, I think it's being misreported. All right. Montianez Merriweather, 34 years old, released after posting 10% of a $4,000 bond, which was $400, following his arrest for a prior case of weapons charges and receiving stolen property. So he's got a gun he shouldn't have. He's receiving stolen property. Indicted July 10 of this year. This release occurred before his involvement 2 weeks. Okay, so it was 2 weeks later. They let him out, and then 2 weeks later, he did this. Felonious assault and aggravated riot, currently being held on a $500,000 bond. I'm correcting Bernie Moreno here. He's currently being held on a $500,000 bond. No indication in the available information that he has been released as of the latest updates. Dakira Vernon arrested, charged felonious assault, aggravated riot, being held on a $200,000 bond. No indication she's been released. Jermaine Matthews, 39, arrested overnight and charged with aggravated riot and assault. Initially held on a $100,000 bond, raised to $270 during a hearing. He pled not guilty and remains in custody. 2 additional suspects have been charged, but were not in custody yet. So anyway, I just think we need to... Let me switch the X account here. That story is being misreported. We need to clean that one up.
Cincinnati today after almost murdering Hawley on a $400 bail. That's how despicable and how rotten our problem is there. But we're going to fix it. I've said to the city that they have 30 days to put together a plan, or we're going to cut federal funding off.
Now, I guess Fox, I'm told, has not confirmed these details.
Oh, good. Good for Laura. Okay, Laura was good. Yeah, but it's crazy. Even when the police did show up, nobody bothered to call an ambulance, and they forced her to get into an Uber. Cincinnati is absolutely rudderless. No leadership. Vote of no confidence. Replace that Cincinnati mayor with literally anyone, and I bet you they could do a better job. That's insane that they would let someone like that, who could have been killed with that assault, leave without getting an ambulance. Unreal. Zero Hedge reporting, as a consequence of the illegal alien labor purge, foreign-born workers are down for 4 months in a row. Look at that there. Foreign-born workers. Down 1.5 million since April. Native-born workers are up 383,000 in July. They were always stealing our jobs. That's always been the case, and it's time that we correct this. I like the Nimbus headbutt time. I think he's hungry for some lunch. We'll get it for him in a moment. Donald Trump posted this. Wow.
Kennedy Jr. He was declared the front runner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999. Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator.
Oh, there's music. All right, watch this on your own. The doggone music. I just can't trust any of these clips that they're not going to get flagged. But Scott Adams watched this and says, I didn't believe the Hillary murder rumors until this week. Once you know Clinton and her winged monkeys were involved. Scott's got away with words. Once you know Clinton and her winged monkeys were involved in a massive multi-year treason plot, murder doesn't seem too far at all. Here again, Trump is reading the room correctly. So check out that video. Roger Stone says at his trial, the federal prosecutor Jonathan Kravitz filed a SIR reply with the court insisting although the FBI had not inspected the DNC computer servers, the government had additional proof that the Russians hacked the DNC. It was a lie for which he must be disbarred and prosecuted. Agree. Alex says declassified Durham appendix shows that Hillary Clinton personally ordered the Trump-Russia hoax and use the FBI to put more oil on the fire. That's Hillary Clinton for you. Check out our episode of the Unhappy Hour yesterday about Cy Young winning pitcher Shane Bieber traded from the Cleveland Guardians to the Toronto Blue Jays. All right. Rasmussen reports, Georgia, these are among the ballots that are still being held in secret. There are still allegedly 140,000 ballots. A bunch of DC political hack lawyers are trying to disbar Jeff Clark when 140,000 plus 2020 Fulton County election ballots are still locked in a warehouse and unavailable because of this disgusting subterfuge shows Joe Biden didn't win Georgia in 2020. That is a very bold claim. For countervailing views, because the deep state wants you to know anything health-related, Wuhan or coronavirus or ballot-related, 2020 election-related, go to CISA.gov/rumor control, WHO.int and CDC.gov/rumor control. CISA.gov/rumor control. Those are countervailing views. Look, it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We say this to you under duress so that this video can remain up because they want you to think 2020 was totally legit. Keep the pressure on. Let's figure this out. Gateway Pundit reports Kash Patel says there's more to come, calling out Clinton after declassified Durham Annex reveals Hillary personally approved the Trump-Russia hoax. Yeah, because you'd be in jail. Remember when Trump said that? Babylon B reports Cincinnati authorities warn white visitors not to use their skulls to attack black fists. The more you know. Terrible showing for Cincinnati. And I was recently in Cincinnati. And yeah, I had concerns going out in the evening. Did anyway, but still. Felt a little sus. Who shut down Durham conspiracy investigation? So DNI releases CIA documents on Clinton's plan to tie Trump campaign to Russia. Brian Cates says, for every person who just recently discovered Spygate and is saying dumb shit right now about a special counsel with no classification powers classifying the Annex to his final report, there's another account like Svetlana's who knows her stuff. She's asking the right question. All right, remember this. Mike Benz reminds us Hillary Clinton is guilty of criminal conspiracy, conspiring with intelligence and White House officials to violate the CIA's charter and executive order 12333, explicitly prohibiting the agency from conducting intelligence operations against U.S. citizens within the United States.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
We want to remind the audience to please not talk out loud. Please do not applaud. You're just wasting time.
It's just...
You're just thinking. Wasting time. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Nope. Patriot Warrior over on Rumble. Yeah, so everybody make sure you're subscribed to our Rumble channel. And they have Rumble rants over there. You can donate that way. Thank you to Rumble for existing. Patriot Warrior says, I figured at least one arrest had been made on a stinking low-life scumbag Democrat while I was gone. Well, maybe next week. Not. But yeah, look, Trump was right, because you'd be in jail. And maybe it is about to actually happen. President Trump was giving a press conference with, wait, is that the wrestling guy? Who's in this? Bobby Kennedy, Triple H, Vice President, He's asked a question. Let's take a listen.
Why didn't you invoke this law in your first term? You could have taken in billions. Why didn't you invoke this law?
Why didn't you invoke this law during your first term? You could have taken in billions, talking about tariffs.
In your first term, you could have taken in billions upon billions of dollars in your first term, but you waited until your second.
Yeah, because in my first term, I was fighting lunatics like you who were trying to do things incorrectly and inappropriately to a president that was duly elected. And we did do certain tariffs in the first term. If you look at China, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. But when COVID came, the last thing I was going to do is tell France and Italy and Spain and a couple of other countries that we're going to hit you with tariffs. We had to fight the COVID situation.
Okay, so that COVID also derailed the tariff situation. Go figure. Liz Churchill says Seth Rich gave the DNC files to WikiLeaks, which prompted the Clintons to have him killed, allegedly, according to Liz Churchill, while Hillary and Obama continued to lie so they could spy on President Trump to frame him. You getting it? You following? Does it make sense? Vigilant Fox reports a top lawyer who is suing Bill Gates and Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla has been disappeared, snatched by paramilitary police and locked in a Dutch prison with no charges, no trial, in a total media blackout. In a scene straight out of a dystopian thriller, Arno van Kessel was blindfolded, bound, and dragged from his home in a pre-dawn raid just weeks before his lawsuit was set to begin. His wife and daughter were reportedly held at gunpoint. 2 months later, Van Kessel is still behind bars, accused of belonging to a criminal network with no evidence against him ever presented. Sound familiar? German lawyer Rainer Fuhlmich was abducted under eerily similar circumstances while preparing the same kind of case. He remains imprisoned as well. This is no coincidence. It's a pattern, and it's chilling. Why are the lawyers going after COVID elites being disappeared? Hang on. Why are the lawyers going after COVID elites being disappeared? The arrests are real. The silence is deafening. And here's the report exposing what the media won't dare touch. Check it out. Adam Carolla says this aged like fine wine. Here's Hillary Clinton after being asked about border security. What does she do? She pivots to what talking points about border security? Yes, she is one of the key masterminds of this treasonous act.
The Russian government has engaged in espionage.
And by the way, if you say Trump's bad for being orange, do you like him pasty? I mean, pasty's not a great look either. She's got corpse face, way tons of makeup.
Has engaged in espionage against Americans. They have hacked American websites, American accounts of private people, of institutions. Then they have given that information to WikiLeaks for the purpose of putting it on the internet.
None of this is true.
Institutions. Then they have given that information to.
She's reading it off like a bullet point list. What is her eyes are down this whole time, and Trump just giving her the side eye.
WikiLeaks for the purpose of putting it on the internet. This has come from the highest levels of the Russian government, clearly from Putin himself, in an effort, as 17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed, to influence.
There you go, and that's the other thing they do. 51 intelligence agents said that the Hunter Biden laptop has all the classic earmarks of Russian propaganda. Then they hand it to their person through the telephone game. They go, Russia hacked the election. And then that's all anybody yells about for the next 4 years. Yeah, you've done your job. You've committed treason. You've staged a coup, an insurrection. What was the other term? Sedition. You've committed sedition. But it was before Trump was elected. It was during President Trump's term, and it was after President Trump's term, and it's still going on now. So it's a 9-year RICO case. It never ended. There's no statute of limitations. It's ongoing. And it's never been more obvious than it is right now. And you just watch her struggling to piece these lies together.
Himself in an effort, as 17 of our intelligence agencies have confirmed.
Yep, that's what they do every time. It's an appeal to power. Well, 51 intelligence, well, 17 of intelligence that they all confirmed. Yeah, because they're in on sedition, treason, staging a coup to overthrow the country, staging a coup to win this election against the will of the American people, lying to the American people. Oh, politicians lied. No, there's a difference between just being a politician, telling some fibs, and doing what they did. There's a big difference.
To influence our election. So I actually think the most important question of this
Look at those squinty eyes of Trump, just coldly staring ahead.
evening, Chris, is finally, will Donald Trump admit and condemn that the Russians are doing this and make it clear that he will not have the help of Putin in this election, that he rejects Russian espionage against Americans, which he actually encouraged in the past.
I think in response to being accused of something, he's like, if anyone has stuff on Hillary, I'll take it. Anything about Hillary.
Those are the questions we need answered. We've never had anything like this happen in any of our elections before.
That was a great pivot off the fact that you want open borders. Okay. How did we get onto Putin?
Continue.
Yep. Trump just bringing it right back. What are you talking about?
To get help from him because he has a very clear favorite in this race. So
the report was that Hillary was the favorite because she had neurological disorders, extreme mood swings, maybe because she was indulging in either she had some sort of neurological condition or it was because of drugs or alcohol. And it sure seems like Russia preferred Hillary Clinton winning. They got it a little backwards.
I think that this is such an unprecedented.
What was unprecedented was the 9-year RICO conspiracy to stage a coup, to throw this guy in jail, to frame him for 96 counts and then throw him in a cage and Epstein him. And then try to JFK him in Butler, Pennsylvania. And then to take him out while he was golfing a couple weeks later in Florida. They've tried everything to get rid of this guy, and there simply have to be treason charges for the people involved. We're trying to steer America into prosperity and away from whatever this deep state madness has been. That's been flooding our country with non-citizens, giving them the jobs, giving them unlimited funds. It's a shell game where our tax dollars are being used to fund our own invasion. No thanks. This has to be dealt with in the most severe terms for sedition, treason, the coup, the conspiracy, all of it. And it's ongoing. 9-year RICO conspiracy.
Situation. We've never had a foreign government
No, we've never had an overthrow from within like this.
Trying to interfere in our election. We have 17 intelligence agencies.
Oh, not intelligence agencies or 17 intelligence officials or 17 intelligence agencies.
Civilian and military who have all concluded that these espionage attacks.
Remember when they say, oh, the science is settled. 99% of scientists agree about carbon. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, there's a difference between taking money to tell someone what they want you to hear. Science is settled. Oh, 17 agencies. Yep, it's an appeal to power. Well, you better believe all of them who are lying with me. Well, they're all committing treason too. You better believe them too.
These cyber attacks come from the highest levels of the Kremlin, and
they've been so eager to start this war and keep this war going with Ukraine and the UN and NATO, all of it, that they've been pinning the tail on Russia for decades. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care for Russia one way or another. I know I have some heritage to all different places across Europe, if you can believe those charts that you get. I'm not particularly rooting for or against Russia. I'm an American. I root for America. I was born in Ohio. I root for the Buckeyes, the Cavs, the Indians, the Browns, the Cavs. Like that's who I root for. That's where I'm from. But I mean, the deep state has been so eager to start a war with Russia that there's nothing that they wouldn't do to lie about in the act of committing treason to overthrow this country under a false narrative. I mean, they went way too far, and we all know it. It's time for action in handcuffs, yes. Like Leon says, Trump's biggest mistake is not going after Hillary. Well, okay, unless the plan was to get her now. And fine, give him 4 more years to just dig in a little deeper. This case is going to be so obvious. It's going to be complicated, but we can do it. We can coordinate it, maybe. Kenneth says, David, I still have the hope, but geez, I've been ever so patient. For real. My patience has run thin.
They are designed to influence our election. I find that deeply disturbing, and I think it's
She has no idea whether it's Russia, China, or anybody else.
I am not quoting.
And it was Seth Rich, a guy who was angry that the DNC overthrew their own process to rig the DNC nomination for Hillary, following an exact pattern of what she did to Bernie Sanders. Seth Rich got pissed and leaked it to Julian Assange, and you had Seth Rich offed. You had him offed.
Has no idea.
I am quoting
Hillary, you have no idea.
17 do you doubt 17?
Do you doubt the people who are framing you? You're GD right, I doubt them. Or I trust them to lie because they're framing me.
Our country has no idea.
Civilian agencies,
yeah,
he'd rather believe Vladimir Putin than the military and civilian intelligence professionals.
You condemn any interference by Russia in the American election.
By Russia or anybody else.
You condemn their...
Oh, look at this face. Look at this face. Holy shit. Hillary going, oh, you mean me? That's the oh crap, you mean me face? Do you condemn? Oh, that's Chris Wallace, the guy that repeated the fine people hoax during the Fox debates in 2020 with Trump and Biden. Repeated the fine people hoax when everyone knows it was never a thing. That guy pushed those lies and that propaganda in the 2020. I recognize his voice.
Yeah,
he'd rather believe Vladimir Putin than the military and civilian intelligence professionals.
You condemn any
professionals, not agencies. So she's kind of mixing. Is it the professionals or is it the agencies? I don't know.
Interference by Russia in the American election.
By Russia or anybody else.
You condemn their interference.
Of course I condemn. Of course I can. I don't know Putin. I have no idea. I never met Putin. This is not my best friend. But if the United States...
Yeah, everybody is painted as Trump's best friend. I mean, I get it. Yeah, Trump's best friends with Putin. Trump's best friends with Epstein. Trump's best friends with Kim Jong-un. Trump's best friends with... Dude, he's everywhere, doing everything always. He's around people.
It's got along with Russia. Wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad instead of constantly trying to start a war with them. This is Mel Gibson talking. Watch this video. Talking about Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass plotting to displace locals and reimagine California neighborhoods like Maui up in the Palisades, where I used to be a property manager and I had properties. We did lose one. It was like 130. It was like a 130 unit HOA that did burn down or something. What's up, Sid, over on the Cape? Thanks for joining us today. All the regulars, please hit like, please hit subscribe, however you're watching. And make sure you answer the question of the day. Agree or disagree that the Durham burn bag annex has proved that the Obama, Clinton, Biden deep state committed treason. Mike Lee says, over the last few days, we've been made aware of perhaps the biggest political scandal in American history. And yet you would never know it by visiting the websites of many of our nation's most prominent news media companies. What's up with that? Great question, Mike Lee. We keep covering it. Babylon B says, investigation concludes Trump is the only one who didn't collude with Russia. That's pretty funny. General Mike Flynn says this must happen immediately. There are indications John Brennan is still in direct. He's in direct and indirect. That's tough to say. Communications with the leadership at the CIA. No more games here. There's a very serious breach of trust and faith in our government. President Trump, please direct DNI Gabbard to immediately conduct this investigation, and whistleblowers must be protected. Roger Stone reports the Inspector General of the CIA should conduct an immediate investigation to determine whether anyone currently in the leadership of the CIA at any level is communicating with former CIA Director John Brennan. Immediately. Where are his deep state I don't know, plants, his assets, his sleeper cells. We'll go with that. Carolyn Levitt laying out the case. Charlie Kirk put this out here about the Russia collusion hoax bombshells.
Well, I think a major organization of the national security apparatus, at least here at the White House within the National Security Council, has indeed taken place, and the president entrusts his current CIA director, John Ratcliffe, and our ODNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, to make the necessary changes to ensure classified intelligence, especially that could implement or hurt the national security of our country, does not make its way into the hands of irresponsible actors who want to politicize that intelligence for their own end. Since you brought up the declassification report that was put out by Senator Grassley today, I'm glad you brought it up, because this should be a story every outlet in this room should be covering. This is further evidence that Hillary Clinton approved the Russia hoax against President Trump. Her campaign financed it. Again, she approved it. And the FBI and the CIA were both weaponized to, as our director of CIA has said, accelerate this hoax against then candidate and former President Trump. To answer the heart of your question, the president wants to see justice served, and he trusts the Attorney General and the Department of Justice to implement that justice and hold these people accountable.
All right. Well, you're going to make the arrests today because we're waiting. Yeah, every outlet in this room needs to be covering this. Here's Chuck Schumer with another L. Schumer taking L's all day.
Here's even something more confounding.
This is incorrect. What Schumer is about to tell you is false, and Carolyn Levitt sets the record straight.
Breaking news. Just now, the White House announced construction of a $200 million White House ballroom that will begin in September. A $200 million ballroom. Where'd this money come from? Did Congress appropriate it? I don't think so. It's almost like Doge was never about waste at all.
President Trump.
What a terrible communicator. This is the best the Democrats have.
Waste it all.
President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure.
Here's even something more confounding.
So yeah, President Trump helped raise that money. Entirely funded by Trump and private donors. Libs of TikTok pointing out these tweets are still up. She posted this while knowing it was all a lie. Hillary says computer scientists have apparently uncovered a covert server. Wow, does she literally blame? I say this all the time. When they point a finger, there's three pointing back, and the Dems will always accuse you of the thing that they are doing. She had the private server in her closet. I think it was the closet. You can't do that. She says, computer scientists have apparently uncovered a covert server linking the Trump organization to a Russian-based bank. Yeah, that's the Alpha Bank hoax. Hillary, it should concern every American that Russia is willing to engage in hostile acts in order to help Donald Trump become president. Remember that? Hostile acts. She still has that stuff up. James O'Keefe reporting, the White House issued a statement to OMG in response to our investigation into Vera Institute's involvement with immigration, customs enforcement, notification systems. According to White House spokesman Abigail Jackson, ICE officers are facing an 830% increase in assaults against them because of unhinged rhetoric from activists and Democrat politicians smearing heroic ICE officers. Anyone who uses these or other apps to commit crimes will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Confessing nonprofit tips illegals off regarding the ICE whereabouts using secret notification systems in order to avoid the area. There's the guy saying it. We keep track of everything that's happening with ICE. Trying to get him. Santiago Mueke. Okay. Here's Julian Assange. Remember when he told us what happened with the Seth Rich story? Let me switch there we go. All right, John Boy, go drink one more beer. Go enjoy those pork ribs. Sounds awesome. You need to do a cooking show, John Boy. Maybe we should get you to call in live and you could give us a Friday cooking show, because you're always smoking something on Friday. And I mean food. Smoking food. All right, well, let's not forget this is Julian Assange telling us what happened with the WikiLeaks case.
The stuff that you're sitting on, is an October surprise in there? Do you even know what you're sitting on?
WikiLeaks never sits on material. Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material, and often very significant risks. As a 27-year-old works for the DNC, who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion about a young guy being shot in the streets of Washington?
Because we have to understand how high the stakes are in the United States, and that our sources are, our sources face serious risks. That's why they come to us, so we can protect their anonymity.
But it's quite something to suggest a murder. That's basically what you're doing.
Well, that others have suggested that. We are investigating to understand what happened in that situation with Seth Rich. I think it is a concerning situation. There's not a conclusion yet. We wouldn't be willing to state a conclusion, but we are concerned about it. And more importantly, a variety of WikiLeaks sources.
And I'm still trying to figure out if he let the cat out of the bag intentionally, if it just kind of slipped out. I've always kind of been on the fence about that.
Sources are concerned when that kind of thing happens.
So that's the Seth Rich story. All of this stuff is connected together. Operation Mockingbird, CIA, intel community. It never ended. It's a propaganda program. Shut it down. Brian Cates says CrowdStrike is and remains what it always has been, a CIA front. Hans Monke says, remember when Roger Stone was being targeted by the fraudulent Mueller Inquisition? He was denied access to the CrowdStrike reports on the absurd grounds that they would reveal internal strategies of his political opponents. These were Democrat operatives masquerading as an IT firm. A CIA front, allegedly. A 4-time deportee is illegally working on Capitol Hill in D.C., and U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro is blocked from arresting him, says Nick Sorter. ICE has been waiting 8 hours to arrest this individual, and we're coming to the end of his shift, and ICE goes inside, and suddenly he's not available for an arrest. Check that story out. One day before the email stated HRC approved of the Trump-Russia collusion plot, Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook was on CNN with Jake Tapper laying the groundwork for the Russia hoax. The political timing adds up. Watch Robbie Mook on with CNN.
To ask, what is the reaction of the Clinton?
Let me ask, what is the reaction of the Clinton camp?
To ask, what is the reaction of the Clinton campaign to these DNC leaked emails suggesting that top officials, including the CFO there, were actively discussing ways to hurt Bernie Sanders in the primaries?
Well, I think the DNC needs to look into this and take appropriate action, and I'm sure that they will. What's disturbing to us is that experts are telling us that Russian state actors broke into the DNC, stole these emails, and other experts are now saying that the Russians are releasing these emails for the purpose of actually helping Donald Trump. I don't think it's coincidental that these emails were released on the eve of our convention here, and that
this is all a lie. And the convention was the coronation of the coup of the Democrat committee, DNC, to get Bernie Sanders out of the way so it could be rigged in Hillary's favor with superdelegates and all of the rest.
It's disturbing.
What evidence is there that the Russians
let's see the evidence.
were behind this
Robbie
in
Mook.
terms of the hacking or in terms of the timing by WikiLeaks?
Well, we need to let the experts speak on this. It's been reported on in the press.
Oh, the experts, always the experts.
That the hackers that got into the DNC are very likely to be working in coordination with Russia.
Oh, sure.
And again, I think if the Russians in fact had these emails, again, I don't think it's very coincidental that they're being released at this time to create maximum damage on Hillary Clinton and to help Donald Trump.
But it's a very, very strong charge that you're leveling here. You're basically suggesting that Russians hacked into the DNC and now are releasing these files through WikiLeaks to help elect Donald Trump.
Well, this isn't my assertion. There are a number of experts that are asserting this.
Yeah, experts, you're right.
We need to get to the bottom.
They framed him
Of these facts, but that
and Adam Schiff. Oh, I got information. Oh, I have damning information. He never showed anybody because there never was any.
That is what experts are telling us. Experts have said that it is the Russian.
This dude was told to say experts 5,000 times. Experts, experts, experts. Say the experts are doing it. Say the experts gave you this information. It's the experts. It's a coup. It's treason. It's sedition. It's election interference. It's depriving people of civil liberties. It's trying to steal our democracy. Everything they've accused Trump of is what they've been up to.
That in fact went in and took these emails, and then if they are the ones who took them, we have to infer that they are the ones then releasing.
Incredible. Scott Adams says, watching video of Clinton lying when you know she is lying is a good lesson on lie detection. Notice the liar face throughout. Liar face. Lots of looking down. Lots of looking down. Can't really make a lot of eye contact because you don't even believe what you're selling. You do, you make your points, but you got to kind of keep going back to, I don't want to be found out, so I don't want to make too much eye contact. Don't notice me. Don't notice what I'm saying. Rasmussen reporting about the 2020 election fraud inching closer to sunlight in Georgia. Republican board members passed a resolution calling for federal investigation in the case against Fulton County. Keep your eyes peeled on Georgia. Roger Stone claims if anyone looks carefully, they'll see Tom Tillis guilty of the exact same criminal mortgage fraud as Letitia James and Adam Schiff. Time to lock him up. It's a North Carolina Republican, air quote, Senator Tom Tillis, who people are saying is not really Republican, voting against confirming Joe Kent to director of National Counterterrorism Center. Is Tillis a headache like Romney? Maybe. Mike Ben says, holy effing S. In the GD classified index that has been classified for 9 GD years, this is where they cooked up the critical infrastructure hoax that created the legal predicate cover for the entire censorship industrial complex. Here it is. Say something like a critical infrastructure threat. Leonard Bernardo. Trey Gowdy's saying there's other ways to punish those who participated in Russiagate. What is he even talking about? Trey Gowdy, I don't know, between the haircut and the makeup and this line here, I don't know about this guy.
Same pointed questions. Trey?
Yeah, and unfortunately for Brennan, the same allergy to the truth that he has now. He is allergic to the truth. He lied in that part of his testimony, and he lied about whether or not the dossier was used in court filings. The statute's wrong, but to Leslie's point, handcuffs are not the only way we mete out accountability in this culture. There's shame, there's history. It's not just prison. There are other ways we mete out accountability, and the fact that somebody's not wearing handcuffs does not, to me, think that what they did is okay, because it wasn't.
Byron, last word on this. You guys are going to come back later on the show, a couple other topics, but
what
it
an
is
odd
same
thing to
pointed.
say. Something's off with Trey Gowdy. We said perp walk, indictments, treason charges. That's how you stop it from happening again, because we need it to stop from happening again. We need to clean everything up so it doesn't happen again. All right. Hillary and the Obama admin conspired to undermine and sabotage the U.S. government, from Dan Scavino putting this document out. Tim Pool, holy F, this is massive. Larry says, hey, remember when Comey admitted that he didn't tell Donald Trump, President Trump, that the dossier was funded by Hillary Clinton? Here's what he said about it.
Did you tell him that the Steele dossier had been financed by his political opponents?
No. I don't even think I used the term Steele dossier. I just talked about additional material.
But did he have a right to know that?
that have been financed by his political opponents? I don't know the answer to that.
Look at him looking for answers because he doesn't know how to answer this because he's a liar. Yes, you do know how to answer that because it's an obvious answer. Yes, of course you tell him.
I don't know the answer to that. It wasn't necessary for my goal, which was to alert him that we had this information. Fine.
Weird. It wasn't necessary for my goal. Okay. Rand Paul says the market, not an unelected bureaucrat at the Fed, should be deciding interest rates. Even more reason we need to audit the Federal Reserve. Yes. Glenn Beck says there is a storm coming. It's a big, powerful, and very destructive storm. Good. Clean it all out and let's rebuild. Wow. More on this on tomorrow's radio podcast. Here's the CBS breakdown for yourself. Either it's one of the most incompetently handled high-profile cases in American history, or a cover-up is afoot. It's a 10-minute clip right here about Epstein. Watch it. Mr. Guns and Gear put it out. Nick, I think you might have shared this, perhaps. And then we reshared it, perhaps. George Soros Open Society. Oh, that's who Leonardo Bernardo is. What a name. Leonardo Bernardo. Cool name. Big Fish says George Soros Open Society Leonardo Bernardo says the FBI will advance our agenda. Good Lord. That is an overthrown government. Alex says U.S. Senate releases documents proving Hillary knew Trump was innocent of Russian collusion and she worked with the FBI to frame him. It's cut and dry treason. She must be indicted now along with her conspirators. Kash Patel calls on Congress to subpoena Lauren Merchand's company that made $15 million off their case against Trump before becoming FBI director. Who else wants this to be done? Oh, I do. The Merchands are co-conspirators. Here's a stabbing attack here. Look how terrible this is. The attacker, according to Michael O'Keefe, is a second-generation immigrant named Abdullah Khan. The media, Gardaí, and politicians all told us that he was Irish, born and bred. And yeah, you need to get better weapons to take people out. You need better ways to disarm assailants. Oh, and I did play you this yesterday, so this is the end of what my prepared remarks were for today's program. Thank you, everybody. Vibe alert. Wait, what did I do? What did I do that time? I didn't do anything that time. It was just a story because, look, anywhere we're at, we got to be kind of keep our heads on a swivel. Watch our six. Be alert. Don't have your head buried in a phone when you're in a strange circumstance or there's a lot of people around. Be smart. We all saw the Cincinnati thing. I want all of us to be leveled up a little bit. Maybe let's take some grappling courses, some Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something similar. Let's get in better shape. Let's physically fit, spiritually fit, financially fit. Let's do all those things, people. All right. That concludes the program for today. Thank you, everybody. Even the people that came in late today, thank you for being here. It's not a show without you. The reminder of where the New American Media exists: Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odysee, Twitch, Kick, D Live, and YouTube. Search the New American Media. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_media_. Subscribe to our podcast at The Agree to Disagree Show on both Spotify and Apple. Also, our donation links are on Patreon at The New American Media. Our tip jar, if anyone appreciates content delivered to you consistently and professionally and interestingly and hilariously. We're on Venmo and Cash App at BrianEngelman, and PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Thank you, everybody, for being here on today's episode of the TNAM Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree Show podcast. Please link up with our podcast. Check out the Nick Adams Show. Haven't seen it? He's knocking them out now. Just consistency. Bite off smaller, consistent pieces that you can, like, as you're launching, try to put something new each day. Try to put something new out each day. It helps the algorithm, so I've been told. All right, that is my advice. Thank you, everyone out there in the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. We will be either off tomorrow or later in the day tomorrow. And then back on Monday at the regular time, noon Eastern time. All right, signing out for everybody on the TNAM universe. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everyone. Peace out.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.